Okay, so a few days ago, I took the Google Analytics individual qualification exam. Basically, the reason that I even started learning about Google Analytics and decided to take the exam was that I make websites on the side, and a lot of times people kind of want to know how their website is performing. Like they'll want to know, how many people are coming to their website in a month, what pages are they going to, are they reading my blogs, that kind of stuff. And basically what Google Analytics is it's basically just a tool that you can kind of link to your website that will track all of that information. And you can tell it what information to track, and there's all kinds of different reports and charts and all kinds of stuff that can tell you pretty much anything you want to know about your website. But for small businesses, usually they just want to know the basic stuff. And Google Analytics does provide that basic stuff, but it also provides a lot more information. And sometimes they'll ask me questions that I'm just not quite sure how to answer. And usually if I can dig in a little bit, I can kind of figure out where it is and all that other kind of stuff. But I basically just decided, well, I want to learn a little bit more about this platform. What would be a good way to do that? Well, I might as well just go ahead and get certified. And that'll be, that'll be one way to do it. Sometimes with the problem with certifications is, even though you're certified, it doesn't necessarily mean that you know how to use the tool very well or anything like that. But one thing that the Google Analytics certification will definitely do is it'll get you very familiar with the vocabulary. So at least when you're on Google and you're trying to ask, how do I look at this kind of metric or whatever, you'll kind of know a little bit more about what it is that you're asking and all that kind of stuff. So at the end of the day, getting the certification, it is not going to make you an expert by any means. It will get you somewhat familiar with it though, which can be pretty helpful. So that's why I decided to take it. As far as actually getting the certification done, I'm going to be completely honest. The whole thing is online. So if you really wanted to, you can take the exam and you can Google the answers, and most of the answers are probably out there by now, and you could probably just Google all the answers and get through it. I'm sure there's going to be some that you couldn't do that for. But basically when I signed up for this course, I kind of made the personal decision that when I take the exam, I'm not going to use the internet for help. I can use my notes and my flashcards and what I've retained and things like that. I'm not going to use Google. So basically what the course consists of is you just go to Google and search, Google Analytics Academy certification, and you'll find it. I'll go ahead and link to the link in the description for those courses. But basically, I think there's 4 courses on the dashboard that you can access. There's a Google Analytics for beginners, Advanced Google Analytics, Google Analytics for power users, and a Google Analytics 360. And basically what I did is I just took the first 3. I took the beginners, the advanced, and the Google Analytics for power users. And I don't even think I completely finished the Google Analytics for power users one. And that more or less covers everything that you'll probably need to know. You'll see some stuff out there that'll tell you like, oh, you got to know about AdWords, and you got to know about this, and you got to know about general SEO, and you got to know that, and blah, blah, blah. But really, if you take those 3 courses and really know the stuff that they teach in the courses, I think that you're probably going to be fine, because that's what I did, and I passed it with that. So I did poke around some additional resources, but for the most part, I just stuck to the 3 courses. And basically my method of studying and preparing, I went through the courses just one time. I took notes at the end of each sub course, because the courses are kind of divided up into sub courses or chapters or whatever. I think there's about 4 for each one. At the end of each chapter, there's an assessment, and I basically just made sure to get 100% on those assessments. You can take them as many times as you want. I basically just made sure to get 100 on all those. before I proceeded to the next one. And as far as like studying, I just took notes while I did that, and I studied the notes a little bit. I made some flashcards for the vocabulary, and that's honestly pretty much it. And that got me through. I ended up getting an 82%. So if you want to, 80 is passing. So if you want to do better than that, I'm sure you can dig in a little bit more and get a higher score. But for me, just wanting to kind of get through the course and get familiar and stuff like that, I was more than happy with the 82. As far as taking the test, basically, first of all, that's something that's kind of changed over the years. I know I read a couple places that it was like $50 to take the test or something like that. It's 100% free. You can sign up for the courses and the exam 100% for free. Basically, all you need is a Google account or a Gmail, and you have access to everything. So that's kind of cool. And basically, when you take the test, there's just a start button. You just click take exam or start or whatever. It'll bring you to a white screen with a question and 4 possible answers. So it's all multiple choice. And I'm pretty sure that there were no questions with like 2 or more answers. I'm pretty sure that they were all only one answer. At least mine was like that. So basically, yeah, it's just a white screen with a question and 4 answers. You choose your answer and you click next, and you just do that for all 70 questions, and you have an hour and a half to take it. So like a minute and a half to answer each question. I got it done in like 25 minutes, and so if you do any kind of if you're any kind of familiar with the material, you're probably going to get through way faster than an hour and a half. But yeah, basically you just go through and you just answer one question at a time. There's no going back. I read somewhere that previously you could like mark certain questions that you had trouble with and go back, but that wasn't, they don't have that anymore. You literally, it's just linear. You just go through one question at a time until you're done. So, and then when you're done, they give you, if you pass, you get the certificate. There's a place you can, download the PDF, and, you can put that on your LinkedIn or, whatever it is you want to do. And the certification is good for a year. So you'll have to come back to this and take it again a year from now. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. The questions were pretty comprehensive for the most part. They weren't really like the easy questions like, how many days does it take for this, or what is a metric, or what is a segment. Most of them were, you had to be familiar with like a couple different concepts to kind of be able to answer the question. If you're wondering like whether or not you should bother with getting certified, in all honesty, I think that it's if you're asking that question, with how easy it is, I would just say go ahead and take it. In all honesty, I studied for, taking the courses and everything, and studying and taking the test was all under a week for me. And I'm not even like a marketing person. I don't do like SEO as like a full-time job or anything like that. I'm a web developer, but I build internal applications. I just do websites on the side. So like my day-to-day is mostly like coding. It has nothing to do with Google Analytics or SEO or anything like that. So for me, not having hardly any familiarity with the marketing side of things and being able to do it in under a week, and you could probably do it, in a couple days or maybe even less if you were able to just, devote a bunch of time to it. It's definitely not very hard. There's a lot of... there's a decent amount of vocab that maybe you won't be familiar with, like metrics and segments and blah, 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 blah. But once you know what those things are, where they are on the screen and stuff like that, it's honestly not very hard at all. For the most part, I think that pretty much anybody could do it. It might take you a little bit more or less time than it took me, but overall, it's not going to take a whole bunch of nights and weekends or anything like that. So if you're asking the question whether I should, get the Google Analytics certification, if you do anything with Google Analytics, I would just say go ahead and get certified. And if you guys have any questions or anything, just go ahead and leave a comment down below, and I'll try to answer those. Thanks for watching.